Good morning, Bucknutters. It is September 1st, 2015. Football time in Ohio. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change. Happy to be joined by Duane Long from his palatial Columbus estate. Duane, how are you this fine morning?
Enjoying a beautiful sunlit morning in Columbus. Took us long enough to get here, but finally we're getting some good, just dry days in a row. I'm enjoying it to no end.
If it's Columbus and it's September, it's football season, and that's what we're going to talk about today here in the BM5. I want to start off talking a little bit about the big matchup against Virginia Tech a week from yesterday. Yes, we are less than 7 days from the official kickoff of title defense time. The big matchup, I'm starting to get a lot of vibe on, starting to read a lot more on, as a lot of the content is coming out. Michael Thomas versus Kendall Fuller. For those who don't know, Kendall Fuller, defensive back, cover corner for Virginia Tech, widely regarded as one of the better ones in college football. He comes from a true lineage of good athletes. His brother Kyle is a defensive back, went to Virginia Tech, defensive back for the Chicago Bears. Talk a little bit about that matchup, Duane, and is this something you think Michael Thomas can handle?
I think Michael Thomas is the most underrated receiver that we've seen in a while at Ohio State. The guy, we keep forgetting, you just look at the numbers and see that he was nearly twice as productive when it comes to just being a guy that the quarterback can count on to catch the football as Devin Smith was. He caught 9 touchdown passes to Devin Smith's 12. The guy, he's a tremendous blocker. He's got better size, and the one thing he's got that changes this matchup with Fuller, why he can beat up on Fuller and Smith couldn't last year. Smith, the big knock on him was his inability to get off the line of scrimmage. And as a split end, you're not off the ball. You're standing right up there on the line of scrimmage where that defensive back can get his hands on you. You got to beat press coverage. Michael Thomas is going to do a better job of beating press coverage. He's a longer kid. He makes some big catches in the air. I think if you look at one turning point in the Alabama game was a touchdown catch he made in the corner of the end zone against Alabama. That at the end of the half, that really had an impact. You could see Alabama guys looking at each other like, these guys aren't going away. They got some football players, and they know it. They're going to play us. You could just see a difference in body tone, body language with Alabama after that. I think he's a big-time guy. I think he's a potential NFL early entry guy, and I think he's going to show it in this game. Fuller is a fine defensive back. This could make him, if he shows against Fuller like I think he can, and we know that especially if it's 12 gauge has got a lot of confidence in him. He'll throw it up to him and let him go get it. I think he can. I think he proves himself in this game against a high-level defensive back. I think he has an impact on a football game.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Thomas was actually flying off the radar. He was the one guy when we had our contest of everyone trying to predict the top 247, the Buckeyes that were on there. He wasn't in there. It's just kind of surprising. A lot of the guys have gotten so much shine after last year, and he hasn't. You know, when people talk about a number one wide receiver, to me that means a guy who can do everything. The one thing we haven't seen Thomas do yet is kind of take the top off of defense consistently. I think he can do that, but if you're looking at body size and hands and strength and ability to run all the routes, he has a chance to be a number one receiver in the NFL, which, I mean, as much as I like Devin Smith as a football player, I do think his NFL career is going to be more as a one-trick pony. So I agree with you. I think Michael Thomas, and you made a key point, he's going to do this on national TV against a highly regarded corner in front of everybody. So there's millions and millions of dollars for him to make. We're looking forward to that on Monday night. Somewhat of an interesting development on the recruiting side. A little bit of time ago, Jonathon Cooper was raised to his 5-star status in the 24/7 ratings. after what can only be considered a dominant and impressive performance over the weekend on national TV. Joey Bosa has now, Joey Bosa, good gracious, Nick Bosa has now raised to 5-star status. I'm of the mind that Ohio State has not brought in two defensive ends in the same class like Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bosa, maybe ever. Am I off base there? You have the historical perspective down. What do you think in terms of a pass rush combo of those two relative to what they've had in the past in the same class?
Well, I think they at least belong in the conversation. You know, on the short list, the Post-it note list of best combinations that have come in. The kids are tremendous. I mean, you look at the weekend they had. Bosa, you know, Saturday, he just dominated the game on an entirely different level. He was a menace. When he wasn't making a tackle, he was making the quarterback do things he didn't want to do. They're moving him around like that. And the high school offense trying to adjust to a guy that talented, you know, you're trying to make sure that you shore him up over there at strong side end. Well, next thing you know, he's over the nose, and then he's on the weak side. They had him all over the place. And I'm not much a fan of that at higher levels, but at the high school level, it can be tremendously difficult to deal with. And Cooper right now, I'm telling you, if you just look at film, take the measurables aspect out of it, he's a little undersized for the prototype weak side end. If you just look at film, he's the most impressive weak side pass rusher in the country this year. There's no doubt in my mind. I've watched film over and over. There's some good guys out there, but nobody gets after it like he does. Jonathan Cooper is special. So, yeah, these guys, they definitely belong on the short list of best pass rushing combinations we've seen. I still think Bosa could end up moving down to a 3-technique tackle, though.
Let me ask you this question. We're getting close enough to the season that this stuff's starting to materialize. Where's the roadblock out there? We've had some people pick against Ohio State. We've had some people think that the big test is Virginia Tech. Some think it's Michigan State. The majority of those paid to pick have them going undefeated. If there's a roadblock, what's the one spot that gives you pause right now?
You know what? I look at this schedule, and I try to find a team, and it just lines up for a national championship run. I would have to say this game away against a team that has beat us, believes they can beat us, we're down a few key personnel. I think if we get by this, we roll. Because when I look at the next best teams on the schedule, we've got them all here. Everybody's here. Penn State is here. Michigan's here. It's just, and even I thought Minnesota has just been playing well, played us well last year. Minnesota, it's here. Michigan State, it's here. We're just not going to lose. This team is not going to lose here in Columbus. No way. It's going to take somebody who is really good, and we're going to have to play really bad. You know, one thing that's been kicking around out there now, Dan, is Ohio State's second team could beat a majority of the teams in the country. I believe that. This is a stacked lineup. We're too deep. We don't have a drop-off. We have next. So it's going to be hard for anybody to come in here and beat us. It's going to be really hard for anybody to beat us on the road. And we're just, it's such a home stack schedule. It lines up for us to make this run at a double. I mean, not even Coach Hayes did a double. So we're just set up for a run here, and getting through this one, down some personnel away against a team that has it in their heads that they can beat us, and they have beat us. That's the big obstacle. It's the only obstacle, I think. It's really a run. It's set up. The entire schedule is set up for a run at an undefeated season.
No better place to stop than that, Duane. We appreciate your time. Make sure everyone gets on the front row today. Our guys will be there with bells on. There's no media access today, so we've got the time to dedicate. If you have any premium content questions, any specific things you want answered, Duane and the boys, we'll all be on there. Keep yourself locked into Bucknuts. Coach Meyer does the Big Ten weekly coaches teleconference at 1:36 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a complete review of that after it's done. Duane, thank you. Go Bucks.